let me post it to the Patreon. Hey, men's mental health awareness month. Post now. Okay. Good. Okay, I'm live on YouTube as well. So you could catch a good old play back. What is my dear God? All right, y'all. So let's let the people get in here. I posted it to the Patreon, but the children don't get the notification. Oh, that's what I needed to look into. I'm still shook from my read. Come on, mother. Good afternoon, Chani. I'm gonna get some more time for some folks to come on in here. Come on in the room. Come on in the room. Jesus is my doctor, and you're right. Hello, are we still good for my appointment today? Done. Wait a minute. Wait ye a minute. Hold on, y'all. We have interrupted this program to bring you. Darcel needs to check his schedule. Hold on. Tessa, when I tell you the way this notification did not come through is crazy to me. Could we push it back 15 minutes? So instead of right at 1, can we push it back to 1:15? Well, that's my time. 1:15 my time. Could we push it back about 15 minutes, Tessa? Are the mentorship apps out? No, because I had to edit them because I put, listen, I thought they were done, honey, but I didn't put some vital information on there. And so I need to do that. Hi, Deja. Hi, Star. Alafia. Alafia. Tessa, is that okay before I continue? Tessa, dear God. That just took me out. Dear God. I just need a hot 15. Let me see. The people are in the building. Yes. Okay. Thank you, Tessa. Okay. So that means that I have to teach this thing quick. No. Let's talk about this, y'all. It's very important that we are very mindful of this. This month is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. And it is very critical that we take men's mental health very serious. As a man myself, and who had my father in my life, I witnessed My father experienced things internally that if he had the appropriate tools and awareness and support, he would not have had to struggle in the ways that he did. You know, it is very easy to villainize an entire group of people, but you know, as we always say, you know, black folks are not a monolith. All women are not a monolith. Queer folks are not a monolith. We are not folks. We is not a monolith. Okay, we are not a monolith. Hey, love you too, Glow. We're not a monolith. As to say that a lot of the men that you see today that are acting a fool have been conditioned to be that way. In the same way, we know that a baby is not born racist. We also know that a baby is not born with supremacist ideologies. The baby is taught that and then sustained in society with that. But unfortunately, as we view some statistics, please hold while I pull up these Carfax here. So, according to the National Institute of Mental Health, 1 in every 10 men have severe issues or feelings of depression and anxiety, but less than half sought treatment. Depression in men is often underreported because men are less likely to acknowledge feelings of sadness and hopelessness, which are the common diagnostic criteria. Men are 3 times, in particular black men are 4 times more likely to die by unaliving themselves than women. And this is reported from the CDC. Unaliving, self-unaliving, is one of the leading causes of death among men, especially young and middle-aged men. Okay. In 2018, the American Foundation of Unaliving Prevention notes that the highest unaliving rate in the U.S. in 2018, self-unaliving rate, was among men between the ages of 45 and 54. What has also become a recent crisis is more and more younger black men, starting around the age of 12, are committing the act of unaliving themselves more than their white counterparts. So we are in a crisis. We're in a crisis. And a lot of this supremacist ideology, and this is why I just made the video that I did, where I was discussing how the trick bag of the patriarchy, you see folks who, you know, men who think that they're all this and all that, but what they do not understand is that you can't compete with the patriarchy. Men can't even compete with the patriarchy because we all will suffer from the patriarchy. There will come a time when that man will not be considered man enough. There will come a time when that man is not going to be able to financially sustain. That can happen intermittently. Men are people who go through different challenges, economic changes, and situations just like everybody else. And if you are investing in a culture, or you have accepted a belief system that you are supposed to be the head of house, you're supposed to make this amount of money a year, you're supposed to be a high value man, you're supposed to be able to provide, your woman should not have to work, you're supposed to be able to sustain and do all of this. The problem is that you are tying those provider efforts in with your identity. And unfortunately, if there are any changes to any of those realities, like you get fired, all of a sudden your identity is compromised. You will also be putting yourself in an effort to strive to reach something that is not attainable for you and was never meant to be attainable for you. Because there has never been a point in history where the black man has completely taken care of the black woman. It has never been a time in history where that was a thing. So when we talk about getting back on traditional men, that's not a part of a traditional man. Not a traditional black man. That was not even something that was afforded to some whites. Wealthy white men were able to do that. Black women have always worked. That's why you be seeing pictures from the 20s and 30s and 40s and the 1800s, late 1800s, of black women as maids and doing laundry service and housekeeping and things of that nature, because black women always worked. So there is an illusion here that there is a good old days to get back to. Just like there's an illusion to say that the government was keeping black men out of their kids' lives. That's also not true. The black men were leaving. And so when we try to speak about, oh yeah, but in the 70s, they was doing this and they was doing that and third. Let me tell you something. Them people knew how to have a man in the house and then make a man not be in the house when the folks come by. Don't play games here. It's all a trick bag. But part of that pressure was because there is a standard that men are trying to reach, that black men in particular are trying to reach, that is not reachable. That was not ever meant to be reached. It was not meant to be reached. It was not designed for you. And so then they really want to throw in the Bible and layer on that. And the problem is what you're trying to do is impossible. And because it is impossible, you will put yourself in a constant mindset of striving and never being enough. And because you don't know how to deal with your mental health, your emotional health, because we were not taught that. I'll tell you, as a boy, I was never taught. Let me tell you something. I was not taught about, child, listen. I was taught how to take a bath, how to shower myself. But even then, my hygiene was not policed. Not like girls. And so in that same breath, two things can be true. There is an over-policing of women and an under-policing of the men. An over-policing of the girls and an under-policing of the boys. What that means is that the women are more in tandem with their bodies, right? The men are not. That's why you have grown men who don't know how to take care of their bodies. Because they were not on us like that about I'm tell you what, the most was making sure you wasn't musty. That was a constant conversation. But what I didn't know, I didn't even know, a lot of men don't even know they have a pH balance, that everybody has a pH balance. And so there's certain things that you can do, that you can't do, that's going to throw off your pH balance, which is why your boys are not just supposed to be stinking. Yeah, because that's just not a conversation. Yes, we do. Boys are not just supposed to be stinking. That's just not a boy thing. But what I'm trying to get us to understand is how the ideology and the thinking is actually harmful and is creating an identity that is not true. There's a lot of men and women who don't know that men go through, basically have a cycle every day. That's going to be my next video. Now, it is not the same as women, but it is a hormonal cycle that men go through daily. A testosterone cycle, where because of the way the world has been set up, the testosterone levels are higher in the day than they are at night. Because the male body has synchronized with the workday. That's why men tend to be erect in the morning or active in the morning time. Okay? But the problem is so naturally your estrogen level drops, your testosterone level drops throughout the day as a man. And by the evening time, your testosterone level is low. It's the lowest that it will be. And your estrogen level can be higher than that, than what it normally is. Now, this is a normal person. And so a drop in the testosterone, the elevation in the estrogen, this is causing an emotional shift. Chemically, it's a chemical shift in the body. If you notice, those of you who have had men in your life, when they get home in the evening time, it's almost like they're like babies, where we want to be catered to. Well, that is because chemically, emotionally, you are now hypersensitive. And so when you have the conversations where as soon as I get home, she always nagging. I just cannot just come home and have some peace. Now, we know that there's BS all through that, but I need y'all to hear what I'm saying. The man is not aware that chemically he's going through a change every day. And so he does not know how to mind his own self in that process. Now, this is for a regular person whose hormones are balanced. Most folks' hormones are not balanced because it depends upon the food that you eat. It depends upon the vitamins that you take. And most men's hormones are imbalanced. You don't even hear about a man going to get his hormones checked until he is in his 50s, 60s, maybe late 40s, because now we start to have prostate conversations. But you don't even hear about that until then. So a man is not even cognizant of his hormonal changes in his body until it's too late. At the end, right? But this is all contributing to mental wellness. That's why it's important for us to take vitamin D. because that's going to help with the mood. A lot of folks are experiencing depression because they're deficient. But my point here is, while the patriarchy has caused a strain and a stress and a over policing of women, because of that, and I need y'all to hear what I'm saying, women tend to go to the doctor more. Women tend to take care of themselves more. Women tend to be more hygienic. Women will go to the therapist more. Women will seek help more because the over policing has conditioned women to be concerned with themselves. And that is exactly why women live longer. The under policing of men has caused men to not care about themselves. That's why a lot of older women look beautiful and a lot of older men look rough. And so it's just very important that we understand nobody is truly winning here. It is an illusion. Because what will happen is the man, because he has been uplifted and put on a throne in society, believes that he's just supposed to be okay. And he does not check in with himself, nor has he been taught to be emotionally aware or communicative outside of anger and fighting people and beating people up. He doesn't know how to give voice to the feelings, because just because you don't know how to process it does not mean that it's not happening. He doesn't have the language to express what he is feeling. So what happens is the persona, the podcast microphone, the barbershop, the suits, the marriages, the titles, the position becomes a bunker for war that he hides in. And he does not know it. Because he does not have the language. Because the man is just as harmed and deceived by the patriarchy in a different way that the women are, or as the women are. And so it is very important, but wants us to mate and procreate with them to make more humans, not with all those setbacks, sir, truly. And I will say in that is because, let me tell you, he has been taught to value what he can do, what he can provide. He has been taught to value his penis. And then you have a culture that supports that, right? That consists of men and women that support that the peen needs to be a certain size, and these are the elite men, and these are the men that they want. And then we get upset when they operate and live life as if they're measuring their DICKSs. So we got to see the fullness of this thing. We got to see the fullness of it. Truly. So my point here is there is a mental health crisis that's occurring here. And you don't have to do anything about it, but I am. I'm going to use my platform. I'm going to use my spaces, those that I'm in communion with, the men that I speak to, because I've had to do this myself as a man. I've had to do the work. I used to become so frustrated. And now this when I was a teenager, and there would be some misogynistic rhetoric that I was thinking and spewing because I didn't know that that's what that was. I didn't have any other language. I wasn't taught how to do anything but to rage out and be angry and blame others. I didn't know. I didn't have the language. But I'm grateful to have done the work, to have realized, what was happening, so I could correct the mind and give language to. And part of it was because a lot of the people who operated in a violation of me physically, they were not men, they were women. And so I had a harsh criticism of women because I was responding to those that were in violation of me. And I didn't have the language to address the feeling. But now that I have the language, because when a woman touches a man inappropriately, the man is supposed to be high-fived by his friends and his brothers and things. That's supposed to be. I remember when I talked about a sexual assault that I experienced by a woman, my experience was the women blamed me because I should have known better. What was I doing over there? And the men high-fived me. That's what happened. And so I was like in a state of confusion between it's either my fault or it was a good thing that happened. That meant that I was doing something right or that I was desirable. To which I say, it does no good to try to blame this person over that person, these people over these people. We got to address the issue. It is an issue of belief system. It's an issue of thought processes. It is an issue of what we were taught and what we allowed to continue. And so it is very important that we take the time. And I am directly targeting the men. I'm not speaking to what the women should do, what the women should not do. The video that I just made was specifically towards the men. And I told the men that what you need to do is to listen to Black feminists. Here's the key: Black feminists and Black queer feminists. Okay? Watch their content, listen to their videos and things, because here's the key, and I'm going to go after this. Femininity, supporting the Black femininity, the lens of feminism that comes from an Afrocentric place, frees everybody. It frees the man of the pressures that are making him try to attain and perform in a way that is not possible. And it frees the women from having to deal with the men who are actively abusing and oppressing them. Feminism frees everybody. And so in the video that I just posted, I'm posting on YouTube. I put it on TikTok and Instagram already. I talk about all of this. And I'm going to make a separate post, a graphic post. It's probably going to be 3 or 4 parts, where I'm going to be pointing men to books, social media accounts, influencers, educators that are Black feminists or Black queer and feminists, so that they can tap into their work and have resources. And I also know that there are some men that are not going to listen to me, honey. They're going to get on here and see this hair wrap. They're going to say, get out. They're going to see these earrings and say, we got to go. That's okay. My job is not to reach the ones that won't listen to me, because those are not the ones I'm supposed to reach. That's for somebody else. Okay? That's for somebody else. How about women that want to show support? What do you recommend we do? I would say, one, I want to be clear that I am a man. Okay? So I'm aware of my position in society. I'm aware of that. And I will engage in this question because you asked me. I think recognizing that some of these men, most of these men really don't know. And I say that as a way to protect you from the energy exchange, as to say, don't get into it. Don't be tussling with some of these men because they really don't know. And because of the way their mind has been set up, they're not going to believe you. What I will say is, the boys, your sons, your nephews, your godsons, reach the boys. Tell them what is the right thing and what is not the right thing. Tell them early. If you have the opportunity to be in a Black boy's life, interrupt it then. Because the children are supposed to be taken care of by the community. And so the children is everyone's responsibility. So that's what I would say. Let's target the Black boys and get them the right information and tell them the right things, so we can circumvent them turning out like some of these Black men. That's what I'd say. And also continue to educate yourself as well, because and a lot of it was like, I didn't even know about the men's pH balance, right? Because there's society, the patriarchy has shielded a lot of things from everybody, and it's a trick bag. It's a trick bag. And I think everybody needs to recognize that supremacy is the problem. So it won't be resolved by flipping the scales and now the women are the supremacists. That's not going to fix it. It's not going to fix it for anybody to be the supremacist. What's going to fix and correct this thing is when all of us as individuals decide in our life. You may not be able to get up on here and influence tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people, but you can influence your household. You can influence your sphere of friends. Because one Black boy that is reached and loved and educated is going to equate to numerous Black women who will be safe in his presence. And that's the key. If we can just reach one, we have done a great thing. We have done a great thing. So that also means checking, because patriarchy thank you, Tessa. Patriarchy doesn't have a gender either, because there are women who participate in patriarchal beliefs and who perpetuate those beliefs. And it is your job as an individual to also check that within yourself. Am I contributing to this beast? Because I have enjoyed the privileges of whatever that is, whatever you have made that to be. We have to stop it all. You know, There's a lot. I mean, there's been more women who have got on my comments and called me a sissy, punk, FAG, all that stuff than there have been men. But I'm clear that the sister woman is unfortunately affected and has internalized this misogyny and this femphobia. It didn't originate with her, but it is her responsibility to do her healing, as it is the man's responsibility to do the man's healing. The men, we got to do the healing. And I also know that my position as a man allows me to, because, I'm like this here, honey, because this is how I show up in my spiritual teaching space. But most of the time you will catch me, I may have a head wrap on, but I'm in like back knot or something like that. But I'm normally in I ain't in slides. Wait a minute. Hold up. Getting too common. I'm normally in joggers, a hoodie. I'm in normal NIGGA attire. My snapback on. And so I'm grateful because I know, because I am not a queer person that is like feminine presenting, that I can be in certain spaces and impact certain spaces, right? As opposed to the people at the barbershop are not going to listen to me if I walk in there and I had a lace front, and I'm very femme presenting. They'll be like, boy, if you don't get you. But I have some mystique in my normal wear that allows me to be effective in those spaces. And so I can go to the barbershop, and if I hear something, I'm like, okay, we got to talk about this, because you sound crazy. You sound crazy. Bro, that is not true. That's not true even a little bit true. That's not halfway true. My brothers know that they can't talk crazy about women around me because I'm coming to interrupt it. And it's going to happen every time. The women in my family know that if they got some internalized misogyny, I'm going to say something about it. Jason, hi, Darcel. After you told me to continue in women's healthcare, you won't believe what I found out. What happened? I remember that reading. Because we got to do the right thing. So, like I said, and I think this goes for men, for women, anybody. We collectively need to be educating ourselves. We collectively need to be reading more, studying more, asking more questions, and we need to be exercising the truth in our sphere of influence. That's what I'd say, collectively. Wow. It's a mulatto midwife. Wow. Come on. Helping with the delivery of the babies. That's the stuff you can't make up, Jay. And that's what the Spirit was saying. Yeah, continue with the ancestry. You're going to find that connection there. Come on, confirmation. That is excellent. She delivered some of my family. Wow. That is amazing. Oh, I'm so happy to hear that. I'm glad you got that confirmation. But yes, so that's it. So happy Men's Health Awareness Month. Do your part by making yourself aware of men's health so that you can influence the men in your sphere and also keep you protected from the ones that may try to come into your sphere. Oh, no. This is what Darcel was talking about. This man's crazy. I got to ease on down the road from this. No. I peeped the signs already. Yeah, no. Okay, keep yourself aware and abreast to it. It is not an easy work, but it is the work. And as a man, I have done the work, and I'm happy to say that after doing the work, I can love and show up for the women in my life in ways that I could not have in the past. Okay. I love y'all from a life filled place. I have to hop on a session with good old Tessa right here. So if you all would also like to book a session, go to the link in my bio. And you can book that there session, child. And we can have a sit down conversation. Okay. Can you meow? No. I'm a Leo, but I'm not a cat. Okay. Thank you. Peace to you. All right, y'all. I need to book with you. Yeah, go to link in my bio. You can book with me right there. I see you, Janice. Okay, y'all. Peace. Tessa, check your email in like 2 minutes. Peace, everybody.